Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the rumor of the day, which is basically Dana White and the UFC asking fans if they want Brock Lesnar to return to the UFC. Honestly, in my mind, I am not the biggest Brock Lesnar fan when it comes to thinking about him being in WWE. I do like the fact of a guy being around all the time. I'm not the biggest fan of the part-time wrestlers, but that always changes when I'm sitting in an event and the Brock Lesnar music comes on, and that's one of wrestling's all-time greatest themes that gets you pumped up. I mean, like, you just start bouncing around and you start yelling and screaming. And so, I like when I see Brock. I just don't like when he's not around. With him being with him being WWE champion right now, and him not being around on the pay-per-views and on Monday Night Raw and things like that, it drives me bananas. It drives me crazy. That WWE has put their faith in this guy and given him the belt, and now they're trying to push a whole bunch of storylines revolving around the fact that he's not there. It drives me crazy. Brock Lesnar would be completely just. I think that he's done in UFC. There's no way in the world you can take a 3-year break from UFC and go back, especially at Brock Lesnar's age and especially the things that Brock Lesnar's body's gone through. At UFC 141, which is held in 2011, Brock Lesnar was beat by All-Star Overeem. Overeem beat him in the first round by basically centering his attack to the midsection of Brock Lesnar, punching him in the stomach, in the chest, basically in the areas where Brock Lesnar had the stomach problems, which basically derailed his UFC championship along the way, when basically they were going in and seeing that Brock had holes in his stomach. I can't remember the name of the disease that he had, and that basically, when he was beat by Overeem, he retired in the ring. He just basically said he was too old for this shit. He couldn't go through it anymore. And he just felt that he didn't have a body built for UFC. Now, Brock Lesnar, once he went back to WWE, he flirted with the idea of going back to UFC one time. And basically, Dana White said that he was not going to negotiate with a WWE wrestler. He basically said, you go get your wrestling stuff over and done with, and then let's come and talk once this is all over and done with. Brock Lesnar was champion. He only had he only had 3 wins as champion, I believe, beating Couture, Mir, and Shane Carwin, before losing to Cain Velasquez. Of course, when Alistair Overeem beat Brock Lesnar, he was able to win a UFC title shot, which he was going to go up against Junior Dos Santos. When he was going to go fight Junior Dos Santos, he failed a drug test, which I think Brock Lesnar has always had in the back of the mind. That the guy that beat him so bad that he retired was more than likely cheating at the time. When they went and took Overeem's blood sample and checked his testosterone level was normally double the testosterone count that is allowed by the Nevada State Commission. They were only allowing him to have a 6-to-1 testosterone count. Overeem's was 14-to-1. I think this is something that Brock Lesnar has always had in his mind, but I think that the fact that he's let this go for 3 years is just the fact of, Brock is 3 years older. He's 3 years slower. He hasn't been training. He hasn't kept his body up to UFC standards. For him to think he's going to be able to come back and have a fight in 2015, I think that he's crazy. Is it a money grab? Could Brock go and grab that easy paycheck? But is that something that he wants to add to his record of going in and getting blown up? I mean, we've seen a lot of UFC legends take 1 or maybe 2 extra fights along the way, knowing that they're going to lose, but knowing that they're going to get that payday, and knowing that for UFC guys, there's not Bud Light commercials for these guys to do down the road for everybody. It's just, you got to get this money now, and that money you have to save, and that's the money that you have to live on for the rest of your life. You're not going to be UFC, competitors that aren't able to really go out and get sponsorships once their days are numbered in the WWE or in the UFC. Brock Lesnar, if he wants to go, I'm going to tell him, feel free. Go do what you want to do. There's rumors out there that basically WWE has written into his contract that if he wants to go out and he wants to do 1 UFC fight along the way, you can go and do that. I honestly don't think that rumor is true. I've never heard it from a credible source. But I mean, everybody knows that Lesnar's deal is coming up. They extended the way that they're able to do his deal. They wanted WWE wanted to put him on TV and pay-per-views more. As you've seen by him not being a part of the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, it doesn't seem like WWE is jumping out to use Brock as many times as they can. You would think that they would build Brock Lesnar around the WWE Network, basically saying the only time you're ever going to see Brock Lesnar fight is if you get the WWE Network or you buy the pay-per-views. Of course, the WWE Network for only $10 a month is the easiest way to get these, and if you just had them on Hell in the Cell, if you had them on Survivor Series, if you had them on TLC, you could easily see for Brock Lesnar fans that the WWE Network is a must-have, especially for that price. But that's not what they're going with. So I have no idea what the plans are for Brock Lesnar. Everybody knows that he's probably going to be the champion going into WrestleMania. Once WrestleMania is said and done, who knows if that's the end of Brock? Who knows if maybe Roman Reigns is going to be the guy to step up to the plate and defeat Brock? I was thinking that they could build Brock Lesnar to WrestleMania as that guy that just beats everyone. Beat. So by the time somebody steps up at WrestleMania and actually beats Brock, it seems like it's a big idea, or it's a big deal. But if Brock wins the championship, defends it at Night of Champions, and wins via disqualification or loses via disqualification, however you look at it, he kept the championship, and he doesn't fight again until WrestleMania. The title run doesn't really mean a big deal if he only had one title defense. So we'll have to see what they do. Brock, if you want to go to UFC, go to UFC, but I guarantee no matter who they put you up against, you're going to get beat. More than likely, maybe they'll give you some sort of two legends going at it. Not going to put you right in the title hunt, or give you that guaranteed title shot right off the bat. But 3 years, maybe even 4 by the time this fight happens, of not training for a fight is just bad news when it comes. WWE is fit for you, but as a WWE fan, I like when you're around, but when you're not around, I wish you were gone.